Chapter 1851. Old Mr. Graham glanced at William and smiled. "We were downstairs just now. I guess you were downstairs for a walk." Old Mr. Bailey smiled. "You haven't had breakfast yet, have you?" "If I had known, I would have brought some from home for you." "No need, Orissa and the others are bringing us some, should be arriving soon." As he spoke, Edwin and Mary came over with food. "Mr. Graham." Edwin greeted Darius and William, nodding when he saw Darius and the others. "Old Mr. Bailey is also here so early." Mary didn't know them, but she smiled and nodded along with Edwin and the others, as a way of greeting. "I woke up early today and brought Zyla over to see him." Darius smiled and looked at them, then at Zyla. Edwin glanced at Zyla in surprise. "Miss Zyla has grown so big, I almost didn't recognize her." "Ha ha." Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Mary took the food and set it aside. "Darius, have breakfast quickly." "Okay." Darius responded and invited old Mr. Bailey to join them. "We ate before coming, so you guys go ahead and eat." Darius sat down and smiled at the old man. Darius smiled and called for William to join them. "Let's eat." "Yes, Mr. Graham." William sat down, serving Darius some food and starting to eat himself. It smelled especially delicious. Old Mr. Bailey looked at William eating with old Mr. Graham, glanced at the breakfast. "It's quite rich, all kinds, just a little bit. There are many types, adding up to quite a lot. Have you two eaten?" William turned to look at Edwin and Mary. "We have eaten, William, you go ahead." Edwin smiled. He and Mary went to tidy up the room together. "What needs to be taken back is taken back and cleaned. You're not eating." William saw old Mr. Bailey staring at the food, smiled and greeted him. "Then I'll have one." Old Mr. Bailey was a little hungry. "Both are fine." William laughed and handed him a pair of forks. "Do you want some, Zyla?" Darius looked at Zyla sitting next to him. "I'm good, thank you, old Mr. Graham." Zyla smiled and shook her head. Several people gathered around the coffee table and started eating. "Why hasn't Orissa come over?" Old Mr. Bailey chatted with old Mr. Graham. "Maybe she hasn't woken up yet. It's difficult to get up early every day with a big belly." Old Mr. Graham was considerate, not caring whether Orissa came or not. If she came, he would still worry. "Darius, I envy you, you have so many grandchildren, and Orissa is pregnant with several more. Our family doesn't know when we will be able to hold great-grandchildren." Old Mr. Bailey was very distressed. William and old Mr. Graham looked at each other and smiled. He comforted him. "The children's fate has not arrived yet. Don't worry, they will meet someone on their own. It's no use for you to worry." "That's true, but seeing them not finding anyone, I'm really anxious." "You said that Sean either stays in the lab all day or sticks with Kingsley. I suspect they might be having an affair." Cough. Upon hearing old Mr. Bailey's words, Darius suddenly choked. William quickly put down his food and patted old Mr. Graham on the back. Edwin also quickly poured water for old Mr. Graham to help him catch his breath. Cough, cough. After taking a big gulp of water, old Mr. Graham finally recovered. If old Mr. Bailey saw what happened this morning, he would probably be furious. "Why are you coughing like this?" Completely unaware that his words caused Darius to choke, old Mr. Bailey frowned, looking worriedly at Darius. "Take it slow, I'm not competing with you for food." Chapter 1852. William chuckled. He knew why old Mr. Graham was choked up. He had almost choked up himself. Old Mr. Graham gave him a white look and reprimanded, "It's all because of your nonsense. You keep talking about it all the time. Suspecting Sean and Kingsley, those two kiddos. Aren't you afraid they'll actually do something to you? Some things, when passed around, become true. Let's see how he handles it later. Can I be blamed for that? They were always sticking together." Old Mr. Bailey snorted and still blamed that Kingsley guy. Otherwise, why did Kingsley reject Zyla back then? What's wrong with Zyla? Old Mr. Bailey glanced at Zyla beside him, who was now less emotionally turbulent. "Ah, he's not allowed to reject her now. I'm not talking to you about this." Old Mr. Graham felt like it was useless to say anything. "Let's just have breakfast quietly. Grandpa, stop talking about it. It's all in the past." Zyla comforted her grandpa. At this moment, the Bailey couple came over and saw old Mr. Bailey and Zyla there. Mrs. Bailey smiled. You two came so early, why didn't you let us know? We could have come together. Old Mr. Bailey now lived near Mr. and Mrs. Bailey's place, not too far from each other. Oh, who knew when you two would come over? Sometimes when we have time off, we come to see you and disturb your rest. It's not like we don't know the way, so we just came over first. Old Mr. Bailey responded, looking at his daughter-in-law and son, and then nagged. How did the blind date arranged for Sean go? I haven't seen him this morning. I had a few friends introduce him yesterday. Mrs. Bailey's was also under pressure, with Darling urging and Dad nagging. That kid, no matter how many blind dates are arranged for him, he never goes. It really annoys me. I'll go find him later. He's always holed up in the hospital, never seen. Old Mr. Bailey scolded with a stern face. Dad, it's early in the morning. Don't be so angry. You've even disturbed old Mr. Graham and the others having breakfast. Mr. Bailey reminded old Mr. Bailey to calm down. Old Mr. Bailey glared at him, and then stopped nagging. Darius smiled and looked at the couple. You go on, Sean should come over later for a checkup. Then I don't need to go find him, I'll just wait here. Old Mr. Bailey's eyes lit up. He had to have a good talk with him today. Darius smiled and didn't dare to tell him what he saw in the morning. First, it would upset him, and secondly, Kingsley's hospitalization hadn't been disclosed to the family yet. The Bailey couple stayed for a while before going to work. Grandpa, I'm going out for a bit, Zyla said to old Mr. Bailey. Old Mr. Graham nodded. Zyla said goodbye to old Mr. Graham before leaving the ward. Darius looked at her and asked old Mr. Bailey, when did Zyla come back? I really can't recognize her. Did she have some plastic surgery or weight loss? She's been back for a few days. Old Mr. Graham didn't get angry at his old friend's suspicion. Not, she dieted and exercised to lose weight. It's not easy. After going abroad, she's like a different person, exercising every day. I video chat with her every once in a while, watching her slowly lose weight. Old Mr. Bailey sighed. Look at you, worrying for nothing. Now that Zyla is like this, I think it's good. She was too fat before. It's not easy to find a partner when you're too fat. Without determination, it's really hard to stick to a diet. Although she was hurt by Kingsley back then, the other side also had some good qualities. Old Mr. Bailey's glanced at Darius and retorted. If your granddaughter works so hard every day, don't you feel sorry for her? It's easy to talk when you're not the one suffering. Old Mr. Graham chuckled, proudly saying, our Jessie is not fat, but even if she were, she would be a cute little chubby girl. Chapter 1853. Zyla walked towards Sean's office. Sean had just finished washing up and came out of the restroom, only to see her sitting in the chair in front of his desk. You're here. Sean wiped his hair and walked back to his desk. Yeah, came over with Grandpa for a while. Zyla glanced at him. Did you just wake up? Yeah. Sean nodded, turned on the computer, and then turned to pour a glass of water. Not sure if breakfast had been delivered. Is Grandpa still over with old Mr. Graham? Sean sat down, drinking water as he asked. Yeah, Grandpa said he wants to talk to you about blind dates later. Zyla chuckled. Sean raised an eyebrow. You better take Grandpa back. I don't have time for blind dates. I can't handle it. Grandpa just got angry, and Uncle and Aunt are there too. Zyla informed him, preparing him mentally. Sean, today, there's no escaping. I'm going to have breakfast. Have you eaten? Sean got up to leave. Zyla also got up to follow him. I had breakfast at home before coming here. Are you going to his place? Sean looked at her. Yeah. Benjamin should be bringing breakfast over. You go back and watch over Grandpa. I'll come over after breakfast. Okay. Zyla nodded and then turned back to old Mr. Graham's side. Sean glanced at her and turned into the elevator, heading towards the gastroenterology department. 12 brought them breakfast, and Kingsley had already started eating. Benjamin was also there. Orissa didn't show up. Good morning, Benjamin. Sean greeted Benjamin. Hurry up and have breakfast, or Kingsley will eat everything, Benjamin said with a smile as he sat down. Benjamin, aren't you going to the hospital today? Sean sat down and started eating. I'll go later. Today, he dropped the kids off at school early and came to check on this side. I'm fine now, you go about your business, Kingsley said with a mouthful of food, talking to Benjamin. Benjamin was happy to see him early in the morning. Eat your food, Benjamin glanced at him. Kingsley pouted and continued eating with his head down. Benjamin, why don't you go over to old Mr. Graham's side and get rid of my old man for me? Sean smiled at Benjamin, knowing Benjamin would have a way. Why? Benjamin stared at him. Sean smiled awkwardly. Grandpa wants to force me into a blind date. Kingsley widened his eyes and immediately started gloating. Benjamin, don't worry about him, just let the old man Bailey handle it. Sean gave him a look. How about you come with me later? Pretend to be my girlfriend. Are you kidding me? Who would want to be your girlfriend? If your old man sees us, he'll kill me. Kingsley was quite self-aware. The old man Bailey didn't like him very much. When you were hugging me this morning, why didn't you consider the consequences? Old Mr. Graham and the others saw it. Sean smirked. Benjamin's gaze shifted back and forth between the two of them. You guys aren't serious, are you? Absolutely not. Kingsley exploded. I kindly offered him a place to sleep, but who knew he would roll into my arms? He was the one hugging me, even old Mr. Graham saw it. Benjamin, look, this guy is shameless. Sean retorted, not backing down. Instantly, the two of them started arguing back and forth, creating a commotion. Benjamin sighed and got up. You guys can keep arguing, I'm out. Hey, Benjamin, aren't you going to stay a bit longer with me? Kingsley called out as Benjamin walked away. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Benjamin didn't even look back as he left. He went over to Darius's side. Sean glared at him. What are you glaring at? It's clearly your fault, Kingsley argued stubbornly. Sean, having a friend like this was really unlucky, it was impossible to reason with him. Chapter 1854. When Benjamin arrived at old Mr. Graham's ward, old Mr. Bailey and the others were still there. Benjamin is here. Old Mr. Bailey's eyes lit up when he saw him, smiling as he looked at him. If only Sean is as carefree as Benjamin. Yes, old Mr. Bailey. Benjamin nodded and greeted old Mr. Bailey. Brother Benjamin. Zyla also greeted Benjamin. Benjamin glanced at her and nodded. Why call him brother? You should call him Mr. Graham. Old Mr. Bailey corrected Zyla's address. Zyla smiled. Didn't I call him brother along with you? Confusing. No sense of propriety, old Mr. Bailey scolded. Mr. Graham, hello. Zyla quickly corrected herself and called out to Benjamin again. Benjamin's lips twitched slightly as he nodded and looked at old Mr. Bailey. How's your appetite today? It's okay. Did you come alone? Old Mr. Graham glanced towards the door. Benjamin chuckled lightly and replied, Isa hasn't woken up yet. I sent the kids to school and came over here. Old Mr. Graham also knew he was here to see Kingsley. I'm fine here, you should go to work soon. Okay. Benjamin nodded. I'll have Edwin and the others accompany you for the checkup later. If everything is fine, you can be discharged tomorrow. Got it. Darius knew that once he had made up his mind, there was no way he could be discharged today. Old Mr. Bailey, I have a painting over there that needs authentication. Would you like to come to the company with me and help me out? Benjamin looked at old Mr. Bailey, knowing what old Mr. Bailey liked, so he decided to do a favor for Sean. Old Mr. Graham's eyes lit up. What kind of painting? It's from the Song Dynasty, Benjamin replied. Oh, that's a good piece. Darius, I won't accompany you. I'll go to the company with Benjamin, old Mr. Bailey said excitedly. Old Mr. Graham's mouth twitched slightly as he reminded old Mr. Bailey, aren't you supposed to wait for your grandson to come and discuss the matchmaking matter? Benjamin thought to himself, should I spoil the plan? Oh, that matter can wait. It's not urgent. I'll talk to him properly when I get back. Benjamin, let's go. Old Mr. Graham eagerly urged Benjamin to leave. Benjamin smiled and agreed, all right. Zyla, do you want to come with us or stay here with old Mr. Graham? I'll go with you, Mr. Graham. Zyla didn't want to disturb old Mr. Graham's rest any longer, so she bid him farewell and followed the others. Old Mr. Graham, Take care and goodbye. Old Mr. Graham nodded and waved goodbye. Benjamin, old Mr. Bailey, and Zyla headed to the company. Along the way, Benjamin sent a message to Sean. Sean chuckled when he saw the message. Are you laughing so slyly? Is it about a woman? Kingsley asked curiously. Sean rolled his eyes at Kingsley. It's about Benjamin. How did Benjamin send you a text? Kingsley asked, puzzled and suspicious. Benjamin told me he took my grandpa away. Sean said happily, putting down his phone and tidying up the remnants on the coffee table. While he went to throw out the trash, Kingsley took a sneak peek at his phone. It really was a message from Benjamin. Sean came back in and saw him looking at his phone, but he didn't get angry. Intentionally, he said, don't pretend like you don't know. I thought you were checking up on me. What did I do to upset you? Get lost. Kingsley glared at him and got up to go back to bed. Can I be discharged from the hospital today? What's the rush? You still need 2 more days of IV. You're looking good now, but you still need to rest for a few days. Don't leave any sequelae. Sean reminded him, urging him to rest and recover here. I'm bored. Kingsley looked at him. Are you going to see old Mr. Graham now? Chapter 1855. Yeah, I'm taking old Mr. Graham for a checkup today. Sean took the phone and prepared to leave. He didn't have to worry about Kingsley on this end. This guy would behave and get his shot. I'll go too. I'll go keep old Mr. Graham company. Kingsley looked excited. And maybe do some shopping. Sean looked at him speechlessly. You're getting a shot later. Oh, I can get it later. It only takes a few hours to finish. It's fine to get it in the afternoon. Kingsley walked over, his arm hanging over Sean's shoulder, and the two of them went out. The nurses in the office looked at them, their eyes a bit strange. Sean's handsome face darkened. He peeled off Kingsley's hand. Mind your image. 12 saw them leaving, glanced around, and followed them. Kingsley chuckled a few times. Sean, I think you're doing pretty well working in the hospital. The environment here is good and quiet. Isn't his company quiet? It's probably getting moldy, right? You haven't seen the noisy wards. Sean glanced at him. You guys are all highly educated here. It's nice to be around each other. Kingsley sighed again. Sean smiled. Your place does have more complicated personnel, but don't you like being surrounded by beautiful women? Kingsley touched his nose. Those women are just for looking, not touching. Sean was quite speechless. There are also good girls. Kingsley curled his lips and followed Sean into the elevator, heading towards old Mr. Graham's ward. Your cousin, doesn't she have boyfriends? Kingsley suddenly remembered this. Sean chuckled. If cousin have boyfriends, she wouldn't dare introduce them to you. Kingsley's handsome face twitched as he glared at him. What do you mean by that? You think I'm not good enough, but you are. Girls don't like doctors like you, always working overtime and never having any fun. And also, it was recently revealed that when you doctors go out to parties, you invite all the hostesses from the clubs, spending a lot of money. Sean's face darkened. Can you stop with the stereotypes? Do I look like someone who hires hostesses? Just then, the elevator stopped on the floor below and the doors opened. Julia Castro, who was waiting at the door, suddenly heard their conversation and glanced at them. Hello, Vice President Bailey. Julia greeted, unsure whether to enter or not. It had been a morning full of surprising revelations. Do you really think that? Kingsley chuckled, hooking his arm around Sean's neck. Sean pushed him away. Are you crazy? Aren't you coming up? Sean gestured towards the elevator. Julia nervously stepped inside. Kingsley noticed Sean talking to a girl and curiously glanced over. She looked pure and innocent, not sure if she was an adult yet. Do you know her? Kingsley looked at Sean, his eyes accusing him. Julia looked away, focusing on the front. If you have eye problems, go get them checked. She's a doctor in your department. She went in for rounds this morning. Sean remembered clearly. Although Julia hurried out after a brief pause, he still saw it. Before, Julia had also entered the ward with other doctors. How could this guy have no impression? Oh, you're a doctor from this hospital, Kingsley said awkwardly. Hello, doctor. He reached out with a smile, trying to shake hands with Julia. Hello. Julia had to reach out as well. After shaking hands, she looked at the elevator door again, hoping to get downstairs quickly. "Beautiful doctor, what's your name?" Kingsley asked, looking at Julia. Sean furrowed his brows. Is this guy up to his old tricks again? This is a hospital, not some entertainment venue. I'm Julia Castro. Julia politely smiled and then turned away. Chapter 1856. Nice name, and as pretty as a person. Kingsley complimented. Thank you. Julia blushed a bit, nodded, and prayed for the elevator to hurry up. She felt that the atmosphere was a bit off. At this moment, the elevator stopped again, and a few people from other departments downstairs got on. It was inevitable during the rush hour. Vice President Bailey. Everyone greeted Sean as they saw him. Sean nodded in response. Julia had to move back to let others get on. Suddenly, she accidentally stepped on someone's foot and quickly turned around to apologize. I'm sorry. It's okay. Sean looked down at her. As more people got on, Julia was squeezed inside. Feeling pressed against a wall of flesh, her ears turned red. She tried to make herself smaller, but still couldn't avoid the friction. Sean looked ahead. Kingsley, who was standing next to him, looked at him with his eyes rolling, then glanced at Julia leaning in front of him, and a smile gradually appeared on his face. Oh, the heights of these two match quite well. Looking at Julia's blushing ears, Kingsley kept laughing. Sean heard his laughter and inexplicably turned to look at him. The other people in the elevator also glanced at Kingsley, wondering what he was laughing at. Kingsley felt embarrassed. There are still a lot of people leaving work. I should have waited a bit longer before coming over. Sean was speechless and didn't bother to respond to him. The tip of the nose brushed a hint of fragrance, faintly. Sean's gaze suddenly fell on the person in front of him. Seeing the blush on the ear, he was stunned. Julia felt someone staring at her, and she felt uncomfortable all over. That minute and a half felt very long to her. Finally, she reached the first floor. She quickly followed the crowd out of the elevator. Dr. Castro, goodbye. Kingsley waved at her with a smile. Suddenly, many people looked towards Julia. Goodbye. Julia hurriedly replied and left. Can you be more serious? Sean gave Kingsley a white look and walked towards the other building where Darius lived. I am serious, what's wrong with me? Kingsley pretended to be innocent, smiling at him. Feeling his gaze was off, Sean stared at him. What's with that look? Just now in the elevator, it was quite stunning. Kingsley smiled again. Oh, that feeling is quite beautiful. What feeling? Kingsley's peach blossom eyes looked at Sean with a smile. What feeling? Sean glanced at him sideways. Kingsley made a gesture. That Julia Castro. I saw her blush. She must be interested in you. Sean's mouth twitched. You are indeed suitable for the entertainment industry. Your imagination is too rich. If Julia is interested in him, he would have had a better chance to get close to her when he went to the doctor's office for supper last night. But the way he sees it, Julia seems to be intentionally keeping her distance from him. Just now in the elevator, with so many people, she was tense and didn't lean towards him on purpose. In the morning, Julia saw Kingsley holding him while sleeping, and she also overheard their conversation in the elevator just now. Maybe there was some misunderstanding, but it's not certain. She could tell from the way they looked at each other that something was off. With this in mind, Sean furrowed his brow. Why is her ear so red, but not others? Kingsley slyly looked at Sean. I think she looks fine, especially when standing next to you, it's quite harmonious. Sean's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. How could he know why someone's ears were so red? Thinking back to the scene just now, Sean was a little distracted. Instead of being forced by your grandpa and your mom to go on blind dates, why not pursue someone yourself? She seems quite innocent, and as long as you take the initiative, girls are easy to pursue. Both of you are doctors, so you can work and leave work together in the future. No one can blame each other for not having time for themselves, and you have common topics. Your family is also a family of doctors, so your grandpa and them will definitely not object. Kingsley started giving him advice. Sean. Chapter 1857. When the two arrived at old Mr. Graham's ward, they had all finished breakfast. Edwin and Mary were there, but William had already gone back. "Old Mr. Graham, are you ready? Let's go for a check-up," Sean said as he approached without even changing into his white coat. "Good morning, old Mr. Graham." Kingsley greeted old Mr. Graham and then nodded to Edwin and Mary. Old Mr. Graham smiled. "Just now, old Mr. Bailey was here. If you had come earlier, you would have run into him." Kingsley and Sean exchanged a glance, knowing that they had come after old Mr. Bailey had left. Otherwise, they would have been scolded for being late. "Sean, your cousin Zyla is back too. She has changed a lot and looks so pretty now that I almost didn't recognize her," old Mr. Graham's son remarked, unaware that she had been around the hospital all along. "Yes, she has changed a lot. When I saw her, I couldn't recognize her either. If she hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known who she was," Sean said without exaggeration. Old Mr. Graham widened his eyes. "Oh, you couldn't recognize her either. It seems like it's not just our eyesight problem, she really has changed a lot." Kingsley's eyes flashed. Zyla had also come back. He glanced at Sean, who seemed to have known about it earlier. "Old Mr. Graham, let's go for the checkup first," Sean said, pushing the wheelchair as Edwin hurried over to help. Kingsley stepped forward to help, but everyone told him to step aside. "You guys are so nervous, Sean, I can still move on my own," old Mr. Graham joked, putting on his shoes and sitting on the wheelchair by himself. "Kingsley, why did you come over too? You should rest in the ward." Old Mr. Graham glanced at Kingsley and muttered, "I came to accompany you for the checkup. It's boring to stay in the ward alone, so I came to join the fun." Kingsley followed with a smile. Edwin pushed Darius out. "Mary, you stay in the ward. No need for so many people, Kingsley and me are here." Seeing Mary also wanting to go, Sean said to her, "Okay." Mary smiled and turned to tidy up. The three accompanied Darius to the examination room. Before having breakfast, the nurse drew blood early in the morning. Now they were doing other tests. "Are you feeling better?" Old Mr. Graham turned to Kingsley. "I'm much better." Kingsley waved his arms and legs to show that he was fine. Old Mr. Graham smiled and said to Sean, "Sean, should he also have a checkup?" "He doesn't need to, just a blood test tomorrow will do." Sean told Darius that Kingsley was fine, just a bit concerned about the toxins exceeding the limit. Darius nodded. "Have you all had breakfast pasta?" "We have, Benjamin and the others brought it, and we ate a lot." Kingsley chuckled. Darius looked at him. "Your family still don't know you're here, so be careful not to worry them, and take care of yourself." "Got it, old Mr. Graham." Kingsley chuckled a few times. Darius smiled and looked at the two of them, unsure if he should say something. "This morning, Sean, your grandpa came over and kept talking about finding you a partner. Sean, you've been working at the hospital for so long, haven't you met a female doctor or nurse?" "Can't find anyone outside, but there are other girls here." "Just find any girl. You have to give Mr. Bailey a grandson." Sean smiled. "I've met some, with so many colleagues, but they don't seem interested in me." "What are you talking about? You have such good qualities, who wouldn't be interested in you?" "I think you're just too picky," old Mr. Graham said with a serious face, trying to help Sean and advise him. "Don't wait until you're older, it'll be harder to find someone. Although Benjamin is not too worried about age, it's still better to get married at a younger age." Chapter 1858. Don't wait until you're 40 to have a child. By then, you'll worry about leaving without anyone to take care of the child, and worry about the child's future. Look, Benjamin has already had 6 children, and you two still don't have partners. By the time Benjamin becomes an old mister, and you still don't have a child, won't that be a joke? Wait until Benjamin is an old mister, and then you have a child. Kingsley felt embarrassed. Sean chuckled. It was indeed true. Benjamin's children are already 6 years old, and they are still playing horseradish sauce. Old Mr. Graham, we can also be uncle for Benjamin's children. Kingsley smiled, not in a hurry at all. Although he occasionally feels lonely, there is still a lot of freedom in being single. Letting him casually go on blind dates and marry a girl, he couldn't do it. It's different, you still need some blood ties to make it livelier, you guys don't understand without children. Old Mr. Graham smiled. Look at 3 Aaron, with honey and children, isn't it different from being alone? Kingsley and Sean also envied Benjamin. Benjamin is amazing, to have met such a good girl as his wife. Kingsley also wished for that, but it didn't happen. Darius glanced at him. Your company has so many attractive girls, not one caught your eye. Kingsley touched his nose. Although he liked to joke around, he was serious when it came to his employees. Although occasionally staging dramas and creating some scandals, it is all for the needs of work. It is all to package the artists of our company. It seems like you haven't found the right one yet. I heard that you go to clubs all day, playing around a lot. Hurry up and settle down, find a serious relationship, any girl will do, your family will also be at ease. Darius hinted at Kingsley about marriage. Kingsley, if he had known about the pressure for marriage, he wouldn't have followed along. Sean chuckled to himself. Kingsley caught Sean gloating at others' misfortunes and shot him a glare. Old Mr. Graham, don't just talk about me, talk about Sean. He's also single, and what's worse is that Mrs. Bailey arranged blind dates for him, but he turned them all down, never meeting the girls. You two are both clueless. Darius snorted. Edwin smiled and agreed, you two should hurry up and find someone, so that everyone can stop worrying. Kingsley and Sean stared at Edwin. How dare this old bachelor talk about them like that? Old Mr. Graham, let me tell you, Sean has a girl who likes him. When he just arrived, Dr. Castro from my department showed interest in him. They met in the elevator, the girl even blushed, and Sean took the initiative to greet her. Sean glared at him. What nonsense are you talking about? Darius' eyes lit up when he heard this, urging Kingsley to share more. What does the girl look like? She's pretty, fair-skinned, probably just started working in society. Kingsley happily shared with Darius. She's an intern, Sean interjected. Suddenly, Dariad, Kingsley, and Edwin all looked at him. Sean's face flashed with a hint of embarrassment. What are you all looking at me for? I know she's an intern, it's not a secret or anything. But you know, Julia is not from your department, how did you know? You didn't secretly hang out with her, did you, Vice Director Bailey? Kingsley looked at him ambiguously, very excited. You're thinking too much, I just said hello to her. Sean looked away. I say hello to other people all the time, you just haven't seen it. Kingsley smirked, looking at him with a knowing look, as if they had something going on. Well, why didn't you move away when Julia leaned on you? You even looked like you were enjoying it. Chapter 1859. The more they talked, the more absurd it became. Sean stared at him. Where could he hide in the elevator? Behind him was the corner, and the elevator walls enclosed him. Darius and Edwin widened their eyes, gossiping as they watched them. Are they all hugging together? No, Sean denied. Yes. Kingsley nodded vigorously. Kingsley, are you crazy? Don't talk nonsense like this. If someone hears it, who knows how rumors will spread among the girls. Words can be dangerous, you know. Sean was angry. There's no one else here, and I didn't say anything wrong. Dare you say she's not leaning on you? Kingsley said, keeping an eye on Sean. As soon as he made a move, he would run away quickly. Sean fell silent. Darius watched them argue, chuckling to himself. Whether it is or not, we shouldn't force it. Darius smiled, looking at the two of them. It didn't seem like a big deal anymore. Sean, if the girl is really nice, you can consider getting to know her. It's not necessary to get married right away. If it's not right, don't force it. Old Mr. Graham, don't listen to his nonsense, it's none of his business. As Sean said this, he had no idea what would happen in the future. Fate is just that simple. Sometimes it can't be forced, and sometimes it's just a coincidence. Go get checked. At the entrance to the inspection room, Sean led them in. You don't need to come in. Sean glared at Kingsley. Kingsley innocently looked at him. I'm just trying to help. Not necessary. Sean gave him a white look, then smiled and said to Edwin, Mr. Whitley, you can wait outside, I'll take old Mr. Graham in, and I'll be in the surveillance room afterwards. All right, thank you, Mr. Bailey. Edwin also stepped back. Kingsley pulled Edwin to sit on a nearby waiting chair. Edwin, do you think old Mr. Graham and the others, as they get older, like to pressure people to get married? Edwin turned to look at him and smiled. Elders always worry about the lifelong affairs of the younger generation. If old Mr. Graham nags a bit more, Mr. Watts shouldn't take it to heart. Kingsley looked at him. Mr. Whitley, when you were young, did your family also pressure you to get married? Kingsley had never heard that Edwin had a partner. I have a son, Edwin suddenly said, shocking Kingsley. Kingsley couldn't believe it, staring at Edwin. You have a son. Edwin smiled. Yes, surprised. Quite surprised. Why didn't we know about it? Kingsley was truly shocked. He never expected this. Why haven't I heard about your honey? A hint of sadness flashed in Edwin's eyes. She's no longer with us. We never got married. She passed away shortly after giving birth. The conditions in the countryside were not good. Postpartum hemorrhage. When his family came to his door with the child, it was already too late. Kingsley looked at Edwin's expression and apologized. Sorry, Mr. Whitley. As okay. Edwin turned to look at him and sighed. Maybe we were not meant to be. She passed away from postpartum hemorrhage shortly after giving birth. Her family found me later. Where were you at that time? Kingsley glanced at Edwin, wondering if he was not there during the childbirth. I was in the army. Edwin recalled those days. It was bitter and painful. At that time, even he was healed in the army. What about your son? Kingsley understood, feeling helpless. He's farming in the countryside. Edwin thought of his son, his old face softened. He really hadn't been back home for a while. He didn't know how they were doing now. Although they kept in touch by phone, it was not the same as seeing them in person. Should he take a leave and go back for a visit? Chapter 1860. Kingsley's mouth twitched. Mr. Whitley, your conditions are not bad now. Why is he farming in the countryside? You don't help him. Isn't that too much? As long as you tell Benjamin, he won't have to struggle in the countryside. At the very least, you can tell me. I can easily find him a high-paying job without the need for a degree. Edwin glanced at him, feeling a bit proud. My son is a doctor of agriculture. Kingsley, he had been disrespectful. Why did you say he's farming in the countryside? Couldn't find a good job. Kingsley's voice lowered, afraid of upsetting Edwin. Edwin smiled. Those in agriculture, aren't they all farming in the countryside? He started his own breeding company and contracted over 1,000 acres for cultivation. Kingsley's mouth twitched, realizing he had misunderstood the doctor of agriculture. He wasn't doing poorly. He was actually doing quite well. Just not in the city, but developing in the countryside. Promising. Kingsley gave a thumbs up. What else could he say? Edwin looked at him and said with a smile, well, he has his own goals and doesn't need my help. If he likes it, let him do it. In life, isn't it just about doing things you enjoy? If you can't even do what you like, that's when it's tough. As they chatted, Sean came out with old Mr. Graham. Kingsley couldn't hold back and said to Sean, Sean, do you know that Mr. Whitley has a son? Sean looked surprised at Edwin. He had never heard of it before. When did Mr. Whitley have a son? It was so unexpected. They always thought Edwin was a bachelor. 40 years ago, old Mr. Graham smirked. Darius smiled. He had heard William talking to Edwin about this before, so he wasn't surprised. They are in their 40s. Sean's mouth twitched. Then you must have a grandson. I don't have a grandson, but I will have a granddaughter soon. Edwin smiled. His son found a partner quite late. After finishing his PhD, he was in his 30s, and being in agriculture, not many girls caught his eye, they were all scared off. He only started dating someone 2 years ago. Their relationship was good, and this year they found out she was pregnant. Oh, so your daughter-in-law is pregnant. Will she give birth around the same time as Arissa? Kingsley teased Edwin. Edwin smiled. She should be due a bit later than Arissa. We just found out recently. Keeping it a secret, huh? Sean patted Edwin's shoulder. We thought you were a bachelor. Edwin, being a loner, it was easy to misunderstand him. He didn't bother explaining. Benjamin liked his personality. Feeling old now, Mr. Watts, with your children all grown up? Edwin looked at them with a smile. Kingsley nodded, feeling old indeed. Edwin smiled and pushed Darius towards another examination room. You should go get your shot now. Sean reminded Kingsley. I'll wait for old Mr. Graham to finish the checkup first, so it won't be boring with so many people. Kingsley continued to follow. By the time they returned to the ward, it was already past 10 o'clock. After settling old Mr. Graham, Sean accompanied him back to the gastroenterology department. Sean, why don't you turn me around to look after old Mr. Graham over there? Across several buildings, Kingsley felt it was quite troublesome. Sean glanced at him. Aren't you afraid of running into your family? Kingsley smirked. His old Mr. would still come to visit old Mr. Graham from time to time, so he decided against it. Just as he was thinking, a familiar figure appeared in the lobby. Kingsley quickly hid behind Sean. Victor noticed. Kiddo, come over here. Victor glared at his grandson hiding behind Sean and gestured for him to come forward. Spending all day with Sean, sticking together like that, was not proper. Hee hee, Grandpa. Kingsley obediently walked over.